What's going on, everybody? It's your boy KRYPTONIAN saying here, bringing you guys another review for Chainsaw Man chapter 122. And now that chapter 122 is done in the books, man, do we got a lot to talk about with this major turn of events that the manga just gave us. We got Yoshida directly calling out Fami for what she is, being a devil. And we got the revelation that there's a prophecy taking place that's going to lead to even more deaths in the series. And we got our first look at a devil powerful enough to make Yoru take one look and say, I might have to very well run away. And this might very well be a primal devil that is now alive on Earth, which yikes, if that ends up being the case, we are in for a lot of chaos moving forward. So with my initial thoughts out of the way, let's back things up and dive into the recap portion of the review. So the chapter opens up with Fami and Yoshida meeting at a restaurant, and Fami is ordering a ton of food, which is fitting given that she's the famine devil, with famine obviously being a reference to a lack of resources and food. And we got Fami eating so much that somewhere Power is turning around in her grave somewhere. You know, Power would have ate all that food there. After Yoshida makes a joke about wishing that Fami held back on how much she was ordering, likely due to how expensive that tab is about to get, he just drops the bombshell. He calls her Fami's senpai, and then he goes as far as to call her the famine devil. Now, if we go back into our handy dandy time machine, we all saw for a moment where Yoshida was looking up at Fami, and we all wondered just where this was going. And in typical Fujimoto fashion, he pays off that setup in the most unexpected way. If you're thinking Yoshida was just gonna have some elaborate plan to get Fami to expose herself, nope. The man just said, here's some food, here's my credit card, order anything you like, and oh, by the way, I know you're a devil, and if you don't cooperate, I'm gonna give you that devil treatment. After Yoshida makes note of the fact that devils suck at giving themselves name, and he questions if she's even trying to hide herself, which with a name like Fami, you have to wonder the exact same thing. Fami's basically like, nope, I don't care, people know who or what I am. Now cut the games, tell me what you want. It's in this moment that Fujimoto manages to make sitting in a cafe / restaurant have a ton of tension, and I absolutely love it because it's not something you normally expect given the information that we're about to have dropped onto us. Essentially, public safety heard of a prophecy of Nostradamus that predicts the end of humanity, and Yoshida reveals that public safety had 30 convicts make a deal with the future devil with the promise of getting a release, and they then asked the future devil when they died. 23 of the convicts died July of 1999, and Yoshida and public safety believe that it's connected to this Nostradamus prophecy. It's then that Fami reveals that a devil has appeared at the Tamano apartments, the first of devils who will lead the world into ultimate terror, and it's a devil with the name of a primal fear, and that it's a she, which, side note, Fujimoto definitely better watch it. This pattern of super powerful devils all tending to be women, man, I know some of the women in Chainsaw Man, like Makima, were all modeled after people he knew in real life, but wow, my guy really turned rejection into gold with Chainsaw Man, and I'm all here for it. However, getting back to the review itself, we see a couple watching television. The guy is talking about how he got this brand new promotion in his job and is trying to talk his wife or girlfriend into letting him buy a car. And the thing that stands out isn't the fact that they're Chainsaw Man fans with Chainsaw Man pillows, which makes me wonder, is Denji even getting royalty checks to this stuff? But they both suddenly agree to just die. This is our first hint that we're dealing with the Death Devil, which, given Yoshida name dropped the Death Devil in the aquarium, it makes sense that we're seeing the Death Devil. Now, the madness continues because they leap off the balcony, and they aren't the only ones, because all the residents have leaped from the apartment, and we see Yoru staring at the site, which makes the current chapter loop back around to where the last one left off, and we see Yoru make a ruler sword, and it's shortly after this that we see for the first time Yoru is spooked. She drops her bag and she just takes out running, flat out saying this is a fight that she cannot win. Now, it's worth noting the design for the new devil is going to make this extremely hard to do the review because we got lady parts being shown on the devil, and with YouTube's new changes regarding blood and content that YouTube finds sexually arousing, which if anyone looks at this devil and thinks that it's sexually arousing, they're gonna go need to touch grass, but given these new changes YouTube has, it's going to make it really hard for the editor to actually show this. So let's unpack more of the chapter now that the recap portion is done. So the confrontation of Yoshida and Fami, that was handled very well. I think that was the crux of the chapter for me. Fujimoto managed to make this chill atmosphere where Fami's basically not even hiding who she is. It manages to feel very packed with tension and directed in a way to where we as readers, due to all the moments in part one where your favorite character could go at any time when they ran across a devil, you're now on high alert for Yoshida the moment that she says like, yep, I'm the famine devil. But whereas you might have thought she was going to do something nefarious to Yoshida, she was just there answering questions, which is our sign that whatever's coming is bad enough that Fami basically pulled like a Scarlet Bordeaux and Karrion Kross from WWE where they had the sand clock and they just turn it over and say that time is ticking. That's basically the approach that Fami took. She's basically like, hey, the clock's ticking on you. If you want to waste your remaining time like this, have at it, Hoss. However, it's also interesting to note that Yoshida might actually be stronger than we think he is, because the dude basically told a horsewoman, answer my questions or I'll have no problem giving you the devil treatment, which means he's confident enough to think that he can take out a woman, a horsewoman on her level, which is absolutely huge. I think that's the beauty of the tension that we have right here. Yoshida feels confident and he's trying to get intel, whereas Fami is super nonchalant, and we as readers, we can't actually tell she's gonna be the indifferent third party or if she's rooting for the devils that are coming and is looking at Yoshida like, hey dog, you can have the entire playbook if you want, you're still gonna lose. I'll even tell you the order at which the plays are gonna get called. You're losing. All of this is going on while they're sitting down and they're drinking while they're waiting for food, which again, I cannot underestimate how impressive what Fujimoto did here was with how he managed to actually handle the conflict here. Now, the next thing is that Fujimoto's bringing the whole end of the world vibe into the story. It has me feeling really old right now. First, it was the flip phones from the aquarium, and now we got this, because I remember being a little kid and buying into that Y2K nonsense where everybody thought that the world was going to end on January 1st of 2000. I remember staying up on New Year's Eve and looking out the window waiting for something bad to happen, then waking up the next morning scared to go outside because I thought the world was ending. But then my mom said, hey, take our dog outside, and I realized the world wasn't ending like one of my crazy uncles had said. Reading about this end of the world scenario in 1999, that's a huge nod to this being a period piece of sorts because of when Chainsaw Man takes place, but it's also really brilliant because he brought up Nostradamus, who is an actual real figure, in order to make this connection. Now, the interesting thing here is that there was a prophecy that a king of terror, which I guess Fujimoto is going to turn into a queen of terror, is going to come down from the skies, and that there's going to be a solar eclipse, and some might believe that this is a reference to an antichrist-like figure, and another being a reference to Genghis Khan being reincarnated, which I definitely think this might be more the case, the Genghis Khan connection. Yoru is the war devil. Genghis Khan might as well have been a real life god of war, which now I'm officially on edge reading this manga because Fujimoto has his foot on the gas in terms of setup right now, because we potentially have a god of war like figure, and the main character of part 2, Asa Mitaka, has to share her body with Yoru the war devil, and this chapter literally has the death devil, which has the name of a primal fear. Now, this is one of two things. Either Fujimoto is just going full on with the four horsemen of the apocalypse theory, or he's doing something I never thought we'd actually see in the series, which is he's got the death devil as a primal devil, which primal devils are supposed to be devils that are never killed in hell, and none of them have been spawned on Earth. So Yoru's reaction, it makes a lot of sense. She ran away. Primal devils scare other devils. Even with Makima versus the Darkness Devil in part 1, Makima was a lot of things in part 1. However you feel about her, Makima was super strong. We can all agree upon that. But that fight was the first time I felt like Makima was drawn with a hint of fear. And for a split second while reading that fight for the very first time, I was absolutely certain Makima was going to get killed. If someone as crazy OP as Makima had trouble with the Primal Devil, yep, Yoru stands absolutely no chance. However, this is where I turn things over to you guys. Was this the right choice to make the Primal Devil the Death Devil for this chapter? And what does it mean for the Four Horsemen theory that the fandom has had for the last few years? Why you think that over? Click here to watch my video on Primal Devils in Chainsaw Man.